Hi, this is Joe Rabil from Rabil Stock Research with your Daily 5. On today's show, I'm going to show some patterns that are looking attractive in my work. While the general market is still in a questionable position, my bottom-up reviews are yielding some exceptional looking charts. And what I'd like to do is show you one specific ADX pattern in multiple time frames that it's developing across multiple sectors. So let's go ahead and get straight into our 5. So what I want to do is start out, there's a couple of different coal stocks that really look attractive. HCC is one that's actually gapping up today. Arch Coal is the one I want to talk about. There is AMR. I just wanted to point that out because it's not happening just to one stock. So what I want to do is show you one specific setup that I use, and this is actually a 3 time frame setup in the ADX pattern. So first off, what I'm looking for is a really strong move on a monthly chart. And I want to have like long-term momentum in place. So I get this strong move to the upside that is confirmed by a really powerful reading in ADX. Now, I don't want to buy when it's stretched away from the 18 months. So I let it consolidate and work its way around and almost form like a little cupping shape to it as it pulls back toward the 18-month line. Again, the ADX is really not giving back much at all. It's still sitting at 40, even though we've gone through about a year's worth of sideways consolidation on the monthly chart. So that's the beginning of this setup. That's strong ADX on the high time frame. All right, now the lower time frame is while this has been going sideways, we're getting this consolidation pattern as this works towards the moving averages coming together, and the MACD, which was significantly overbought, works its way back down to the 0 line. But the thing I focus on here when I'm browsing through charts is strong ADX on the high time frame and low ADX on the lower time frame. And what that's telling me, if you notice the red DI, which is the strength of the sellers, never crossed above the 25 line. It bumped up against it once, but that was about it. And so that tells me that the strength of the sellers is just not there. The people that got in this are still in it, and they're preparing for another up move. Now, the third piece of the puzzle here is actually the daily chart. And in most cases, I want to see the ADX line break out and then maybe look to buy a pullback. But in this case, we actually formed a nice triangle pattern with low ADX. So I have strong ADX here telling me the bigger momentum has an upward bias. I've got low ADX here saying that there's not much strength in the sellers. And I've got low ADX here saying we've got some compression in place. Let's look for a breakout. Now, you could wait for this to move up a little bit more and the ADX to move up a little bit more and then buy the first higher low. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But in this case, because of what I'm seeing in the industry group, I think this looks really attractive right now. So that's the key thing I want to focus on. Now, there are patterns where the ADX is low on the monthly and then low here, and then I'm looking for strength on this time frame. But for the most part, what I noticed when I go through my reviews is I have strength on the monthly and low ADX on the weekly. So let's look at this next chart. This is Cabot Corp. And one thing I'll tell you is that this is a specialty chemical, and a lot of specialty chemicals looking pretty interesting right now. So let's look at this pattern now. We've got strength on the ADX monthly. Now look at what this did. This had a move to the upside, it pulled back, and then it had another strong move to the upside. And look at how this is just consolidated sideways here. Now, it's basically a base on top of a base. We have a breakout move, and then we go sideways for about a year, sitting on top of this big basing area. ADX remains strong, still at 27, holding above the 25 line. So I view that as a real bullish sign. Now, look at what happened on the weekly chart. Again, we do this sideways consolidation rather than any kind of really severe. And again, red DI does not get above 25 during this entire period. And ADX remains low for the better part of 6 months. So when we get a low ADX condition in place with strong ADX on the higher time frame, I want to go and look at the smaller time frame and see if I can get either a breakout play or signs of improvement, some signs of momentum improvement. Now, we had this move to the upside that wasn't a breakout pattern, but we got a little bit of improvement here. But for me, I want more confirmation with a breakout, which is what we're starting to see right now. We're breaking out of this big base, we're breaking out of this sideways consolidation, and now we're getting a stronger condition in place as the ADX is trying to get going here. Again, I like what's going on in the group, so I wanted to make sure I highlighted one of these. So Skyline. Another area I want to highlight, which is in the home building area. Now, I'm not saying this is a home builder. I think they do mobile home building. But look at what took place in this one. So we have this strong move to the upside. My one condition I'm talking about in the stocks that I'm trying to highlight here, strong, powerful move to the upside. And then we get this consolidation pattern that's kind of deep, and it works its way below the 18-month, but then works sideways for a period, works off the overbought condition in MACD on the monthly, and same with the ADX. No sign of sellers. And then look at this correction pattern that developed with low ADX. And from July on, we have not seen red DI above 25. Now look at green starting to emerge. Look at the ADX line starting to rise based on that. We've broken the downtrend line. Would I love to see this consolidate a little bit? I would. But look at the strength that started to form after a low ADX pattern on the daily chart. We get an emergence of strength here, and it's confirmed by ADX. So we're looking for some kind of a little dip or pullback on the daily chart, I think. If the pullback looks like it's coming in a little hard and doesn't trigger, and maybe this wants to come down and we get a pullback on the weekly, and that would be even more attractive in my view if it plays out that way. Let's look at the next pattern. So this is Autonation. Now, it's unfortunate here. This is actually getting a big gap up today. I actually, because the market was pulling back, I thought this might hang right in this breakout area. But nonetheless, I think it confirms what I'm showing you here. Strength here. Look at the power here. Look at the consolidation that takes place on the monthly. See this sideways pattern? I mean, I go through thousands of charts hunting for this. Look at this weekly low ADX condition that formed since April. Basically, we've been in a low ADX condition with the seller showing no real strength. And then look at the power that developed on the ADX as this pulled back towards the breakout area on this pullback. So, so now let's see if we can't get some kind of a little retracement back towards this 140 area or something like that. But look at the bigger picture here. I mean, there's something pretty significant going on based on the way I look at the world. So I would definitely give this credit and don't write it off and think you missed it. Let's look at Fiserv. This is the last one. Now, this does have the two conditions that I talk about, which is a low ADX pattern on the weekly and strong ADX developing after a low ADX pattern on the daily. So we have those two things going for us. What we don't have is we have a low ADX condition on the monthly chart. So what I want to show here is that this is the monthly. I actually think this is the lower time frame with low ADX and the zero line reversal. And I'm going to switch this to a quarterly chart. So look at what's happened. We have this powerful, powerful trend on the quarterly. We bang up against 125 a few times, pull back to the 18-month, which is in a really strong trend. ADX is still at 35. We have reverse divergence developed on the quarterly chart, and then we go down to this time frame, and we've been going through this sideways period, and now it looks like we're emerging. So I wanted to bring this up because, yeah, I want to look for this as a pullback, but recognize that this is something more significant developing on a quarterly chart along with the monthly. So it's a little bit different. We can look at the weekly and see that we've got a weekly low ADX breakout pattern that just took place around 110. We've got a little bit of an overbought condition, but this is actually starting to pull back. So I think if we can get a little bit closer to that 110, 112, something like that, this could look really attractive from that standpoint. So I hope you enjoyed this segment. You can contact me through LinkedIn, Twitter, or find my research on rabilstockresearch.com. In addition, if you'd like to learn more about trend MACD, and ADX in multiple time frames. I have a trend and momentum trading course, which can be found at rabilstockresearch.com/services, and that delves into this subject. Have a great trading day, and we'll see you next time.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.